evening and welcome to the Wednesday, June 17th board meeting. Can I get the, oh, I'm sorry. Would you please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I'll skip to that. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I have the reading of the mission and vision statements, please?
Mission statement: Richmond Community Schools equips every student with knowledge, skills, and opportunities to fuel lifelong learning, achievement, and purpose.
The vision statement: engaging minds, challenging learners, achieving success together.
All right, thank you. Dr. Wright, next up we have presentations. I think Dr. Wright, I'm going to move forward with item 2.01, the Finance and Business Operations Monthly Report.
President Bryant, if possible, and board, could we potentially flip-flop presentations with celebrations?
Yes.
Is that a
fine.
possibility with, to be respectful of those in the audience? Well, we have a lot to present and a lot of amazing things to share with the community. I know some, I think we're, so if that's okay, I'd like to call Mrs. Bridget Hazelbaker, our Director of Communications and Student Support Services, to highlight tonight's honorees. Welcome back, Mrs. Hazelbaker.
Hello, everyone. How are you all?
Good evening.
Tonight, we have three different groups that are coming up here for us. But tonight, I want to celebrate, we had our 29th Annual Celebration of Excellence. Mr. Hensley led that for us here last month at Civic Hall. It was a wonderful event recognizing outstanding educators, support staff, and community partners who make our district great. I would like to call up Lori Dilworth. I'd also like to call up Kelly Stump, Monica Koschlein, and Allison Clark-Seidel. Stephanie Huber and Reva Hartman. Come on up. So Lori Dilworth is our 2026 Teacher of the Year. She's at Richmond High School. She teaches a remarkable range of mathematics courses from Algebra 1 to dual credit ACP pre-calculus. Anybody else want to join that class? Meeting every student exactly where they are. We also have elementary teacher Kelly Stump from Westview Elementary School, and you're in second grade teacher who dedicated there at Westview. And then we also have the 2026 Friend of Education. That's the Stam Koschlein Family Foundation with Monica Koschlein and Allison Clark-Seidel. And they were nominated by multiple buildings, and I'll have them talk about that here in just a little bit. And then finally, we have our administrator here, Stephanie Hoover. She was very surprised at the ceremony. Completely side, like she had no idea. And then Miss Hartman, Reva Hartman, she's at TESH. She was our Support Person of the Year. She was one of 20 people that were nominated for our Support Person of the Year. So, ladies, I gotta make sure I answer that correctly. Will you guys just, again, tell us a little bit about yourself, and have you been nominated for this before? No. So Ms. Dewar, go ahead and come up to and tell us, who did you bring with you tonight?
I brought my family, my husband, Benjamin Dilworth, he also teaches at the high school, and my daughters, Hannah and Olivia. They are going into 6th grade this year.
All right. And tell us a little bit about your, I know there's a profile, you guys have to do, tell me what the process is for the Teacher of the Year.
I was nominated through my building, and they did a vote and decided that I was the building Teacher of the Year. And then I had to write a letter and do a resume, send that to HR, and they did a vote. Then I don't really understand that process, but it's okay, I'm not supposed to. But then I was surprised myself. So.
And then you were selected as the secondary Teacher of the
Yes.
Year, and then also as the district, and you'll be moving forward
Yes,
to the Indiana Teacher of the Year.
correct. I am working on that very lengthy application process.
And now, how long have you been teaching?
In public schools, I've been teaching for 12 years. No, that's not right. 14 years, sorry. And I did 6 years at IU East, so 20 years in education.
right, Ms. Stump? You're new to the district.
Yes.
Yes, so tell us a little about being a second grade teacher at Westview.
I loved it. I came from a very, very large district where my school building alone had 1,300 students. So my second grade team was the size of my whole building. So that was very different, but I loved every bit of it. It was great.
Now, when you had a video, the kids, everyone submitted a video, and one of your kids really spoke about that levels of behavior. Can you elaborate on that a little bit, how that went from green or red to green?
Oh, the iReady.
iReady, okay.
Yes, yeah, we were in the process of doing our iReady, and I was showing them like the beginning of the year, you're not supposed to know all this, so it's okay. And then I showed them, look what you guys did. We went from like 1 kid in green to like 13 in green. So it was like, they were all proud of themselves.
They're pretty excited about their data.
They were.
Now, Miss Monica, tell us a little bit about the projects and the initiatives that you've been doing at the schools here at RCS.
Yeah, we've been funding the schools, I don't know, for 15 years, mostly supporting PBIS, is that what it's called still? Positive Behavior Supports. I don't know if that's still the acronym. And what is it now? TBR. TBR, it's always changing, right? And I think this year we probably gifted about $27,000, mostly to the elementary schools, but also to CYS and Hibbard. So we've been really excited to be able to do that, and then it's also supported some positive teacher engagement. And Allison does check-ins with all the principals a couple of times a year and engages with other partners in the community sometimes. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, one of our goals is to make sure that the schools also take advantage of all of our other partners. So we fund places like Hope Environmental Center, Boys and Girls Club, and Hayes Arboretum, and a lot of these places. And we want to make sure that the schools feed off of the community as much as the community feeds off the schools. And so we try to make those relationships happen as we can. Our goal is always to go beyond the check, to be a partner with the school and not just a funder.
All right, Ms. Huber, tell us a little about going from principal before, then going to the high school, and now coming back to elementary and being at your school that you just adore.
So I was at.
Alex, can you hear her? Are you good? Microphone.
I
want people at home to hear, so.
I'll use my coaching voice. So I was at Star for I think 7 years, and then I went to the high school and I was a counselor and a swim coach and then assistant principal. And as much as I enjoyed that, I just love I like the little people, and I love Star. Star, if you've never been there, if you've ever worked there, it has its own personality, and it is my favorite place. And you're just family when you're there, and when I got to go back, there was just nothing that made me happier. And I mean that with all sincerity. I love that building. And so whether or not I was Administrator of the Year, like it's been an amazing year for me. And my staff I love them and the kids, so it's been a good year.
Any questions from y'all?
I would just like to tell you guys I appreciate everything that you guys do for the community. About the pre-calculus,
Yes,
I think my daughter will be in your class.
Fantastic.
So, as she has declared that she's going to be doing algebra in 8th grade, so kind of excited about that.
I'll welcome her.
So yeah, I just really want to say congratulations to everyone. Really, hard work, your perseverance, your trust in the community trusts you with our kids. I think it's to be obliged for, so I appreciate it.
I also just wanted to make a note that even at the event, we celebrated years of service to Richmond Community Schools and also our retirees.
I mean,
So it was a great
celebration.
afternoon.
Great celebration.
Morning, it was a morning.
Good breakfast.
And for all,
Breakfast, a great breakfast.
and for all that accompanied you all, your families, again, tremendous job in supporting these fine folks, and we definitely appreciate all that you do. But another round of applause.
Stay right here.
We're gonna stand here for a picture.
Just for a second.
Which face?
Yes, come this.
All right.
Just so I have the icon behind you.
Best keep stepping back.
Okay.
Short people in the back.
Short people.
I was gonna say, would you stop doing Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All right, we're going to also now celebrate our track, our student athletes that went to state track. So can Kale Newton hop up here for a moment? Jacob Lindahl is also a student that we would recognize as well. He had a previously scheduled engagement tonight, so he's not able to make it, but I just want to first recognize Cale Newton, who qualified and competed at the state finals. Cale earned his state berth from 4th place finish at regional and holds a personal record of...
In the 927.
Yes, very good. He won his sectional NCC championship and the Hauser Invitational this season, and he is currently ranked among the top 50 performers in Indiana in the 3200. As a junior, this state experience, you're a junior? I thought you were a senior. Congratulations. That's wonderful. This state experience positions him well for continued success in the Red Devil uniform. So again, just come on up here, Cale. We're going to ask you some questions a little bit. Anybody have any questions for Cale?
I would like to say congratulations. I went to state twice, my junior and senior year, and it is hard to get there.
That's my goal.
That's your goal, right? That's your goal. But that regional really sets you apart. That regional track meet against all that competition from the down to 6A, 5A, 4A schools, you know, you kind of set yourself apart from that. A good friend of mine, Steve Casebold and Chad McFarland and Jason Briggs would love to compete with you, but you know,
I'm chasing their records.
I bet you, I thought you were. That's good. That's good. That's what we want to hear from our teacher, or from you, from everywhere. I'm glad to see that those small goals are becoming big goals. So congratulations.
Now, who did you bring with you tonight?
I brought my mom and my dad and my coach, wherever you went, is right there. That's what I brought.
Any additional questions?
You have a twin brother, is that?
I do, yes.
Well, hopefully he passed along my congratulations. I ran into him at the gym the other day.
Okay.
Recognized him from the picture with Dr. Wright, and he goes, "Oh, that was my brother," but
I think you did.
clearly I'm not a runner, so we were not on the treadmill, but yeah, I saw him and sounded like we had a great day, well represented at the state meeting, so congratulations.
Thank you.
I see you all the time running, so
Oh, yeah.
all the time. So,
Just-
what's your favorite place to run? I mean, what's your courses? What's your favorite?
Oh, the courses? Or the,
I
or what do
mean,
you
3,200, you have to just run in the laps, right?
Yeah.
It's not, but you're also in the cross country.
Yeah.
As well.
I like Shelbyville. They have a really nice course.
Nice. Okay.
Just to piggyback on what Mr. Brand had alluded to, what I most was appreciative of and so proud of is the fact that, and I have siblings myself, but one of the things that you mentioned is that you're going to work that much harder to also continue to model for your twin brother so that he closes his gap, which I think he did this year, so that he can join you on the state level, as well as Mr. Lindahl, young Jacob. The things that you all were saying throughout the course of that day as to how you wanted to continue to model, keep it going, and continue to emphasize the importance of your classmates joining you at that state level was just very humble of you and very profound. And Coach Lambright is one that is rather reserved, and he always likes to lay in the back, but I know that he's doing a tremendous job. And so, Mr. Lambright, if you could stand and also receive a round of applause, please. We know that the program continues to grow, and we know that, again, you and your staff have done a tremendous job, and so
I
tremendous.
just want to also just read a little bit about Jacob and his success. He earned 9th place at the state finish. The shot put with a throw at 54 feet, 9.25 inches, making him an IHSAA state placer. Jacob's 2026 season was nothing short of exceptional. He ranked 5th in the state of Indiana and set a personal record of 61 feet, 3 inches, and claimed first place at every regular season competition he entered, including the regional championship.
Wow. And that was all despite of, I believe, 3 rain breaks on that day, 2 or 3 rain stoppages that you all had to maintain.
I'll just get a
folks.
photo with,
So we get a
can we do that real
photograph
fast?
Coach, come on up.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Yes, I'm so glad you didn't need me on that day outside of moral support. Yes.
1, 2, 3. Gotcha. Thank you. And then we have some Richmond Red Devil baseball players. So will you gentlemen come up here for a minute? I'm going to celebrate the great season they had, and I'm going to have them do a lot of the talking as well. So go ahead and come on up and introduce yourselves, and we'll talk about your season. Say what grade you're in also.
I'm a 12th grader. I just graduated. My name is Darwin Roman. My name is Weston Jones. I just graduated. I was a senior on our chess baseball team.
My name is Andrew Judah, and I just graduated. I was a senior.
My name is Jameson Hall, and I am a junior. My name is Cameron Rodriguez, and I'm going into senior year.
I'm Jim Lewis, and I'm a sophomore.
I'm Corey Mathena, and I'm a freshman.
All right, so tell us a little about sectionals. I understand it's been quite a while since we've won sectionals.
Yeah.
How long has it been?
About 15 years.
15 years. So
We brought it home.
So I have down, I just want to say, this remarkable group of young men turned this season into something truly special, reminding our entire community what it means to play with heart, hustle, and pride. They captured the sectional title. It wasn't just a win on the scoreboard, it was a statement. So a statement that Richmond baseball is back and that the Red Devils mean business. So I'm very excited for you all and appreciate you guys spending your evening. And who did anybody here bring anybody with them? Most of you are probably all drove yourself. Your coaches are here. Have your coaches come on up.
Yeah, they're trying to hide out as well. Yeah, it's rather reserved and humble.
Yes, coaches, come up. And your principal is here as well. Yeah, Ms. Wolfie's back here as well. So, Coach Medley, go ahead and tell us a little bit about your season and what were the expectations? And you guys are also having a baseball camp coming up.
Yeah, so for the season, I mean, before the season started, you can ask all these guys, I kind of told them that I do expect us to win sectional. We had high expectations the entire year. We had some hiccups throughout the year, some things we had to deal with, but any high school team has hiccups, so nothing too crazy. But the way these guys stick together, the way that they kind of push through the season, push through those challenges, really just goes to show how good of a group this was and how much they really mean to each other and how they all kind of play for each other and all that.
So tell me a little bit about playing at McBride. What's the difference with all the renovations and things?
Not too much on the field, so to speak, but I mean, it definitely looks a lot cooler with the mummies coming in. That's all I have to say about it.
Coach Wilson, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Just told most of these guys when sectionals came around and after regionals that I was just happy that they trusted me coming in as a first-year coach and getting to know these guys and getting to see all the work that they'd put in the previous years and getting to see what they did this year is just something I was super, super happy to be part of.
Now, is it any of you all moving on and playing baseball at another place?
Yeah, summer ball.
Summer ball or good travel ball?
What about college ball?
What about college ball?
We have a
Where are you going to be going?
Harlem.
Harlem.
Great school.
Questions?
I have lots of questions. So I was giving play-by-play to the boards, like, oh my God, and I was just always watching you guys from play to play. You can ask each and every board member, but it was awesome. That was an awesome game against Pendleton because I knew they had a pitcher there he was throwing some heaters, but you guys were hitting them. So much appreciative, man. I was so ecstatic. I was cheering left and right. I felt a part of your guys' success just there, even though, I mean, you guys were amazing. And Xander, you were throwing heaters, bud.
Yeah.
Throwing heaters. Who's the catcher? Hey, good job. Good job, bud. So.
Well, all in all, again, that last contest, while it wasn't as successful as we would have loved for it to have been, what I most loved is the fact that you all continue to fight. You didn't quit, you competed, and you showed the rest of the state what it is that we're about here in Richmond, which is a good fight and good, honest sportsmanship and competition. And you all represented so well the city, the school, your administrators, your teachers, your coaches, and definitely your parents. And so, again, congratulations.
Photo of y'all.
We gotta skip down a little bit. Okay.
All good.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Again, I remember graduation.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys.
President Brand, trustees, thank you for allowing us to rearrange the schedule. And at this juncture, I will ask that Mrs. Karen Scout, our Assistant Superintendent of Business and Finance, rejoin us for the Finance and Business Operations Monthly Report. Welcome back, Mrs. Scout.
Hi, good evening. We will make this super quick, but we will go through the May report, and for you tonight, there are, there is the cumulative total of balances, both for the month and for the year. We are making progress as we continue to look at budget adjustments and reductions, and so you will see that things are starting to get a little bit better throughout the year, which was what we have planned for and working toward. With that, our ending balance in the education fund was a little over $2.1 million this month. Debt service does not have a lot of change until the end of this month, and the operations fund is sitting at about 1.1. Those two funds this month will finally receive revenues from the tax settlement. It will be interesting to see what that looks like. So we do not have any additional guidance beyond what we receive at the budget order time. So June kind of gives us that final look at what the year is going to look like so that we can make the final projections for December. We are eagerly awaiting that. The county does have to distribute by June 30. We have debt payments due in June, and then we also have a lot of operational needs that this money then will refresh that fund for the remaining 6 months, and then in December we'll get the remainder of the balance. So one note about the operations fund is because of Senate Bill 1, there were estimates from Legislative Service Agency until the abstract was done in April and the taxes were sent out. We don't know much beyond those estimates and what the budget order tells us. So we really do look forward to seeing June to know exactly what that looks like and were those estimates right? Were they not? What does the year look like? Why is it different if it is different? Preliminarily, we are working on continuing disclosure with Baker Tilly and Ice Miller for the current bonds that we have, and with that, they have some data that I don't, because they are able to pull those abstract numbers from the state. And with that, the assessed values have changed a little bit from what we were told on those budget orders. Now, that does include circuit breaker. So that's my one thing that we just really don't know until we actually get that money. So they could be more, they could be much less than what was estimated. So once we know that, next month's financial report will include more data, and we'll have more information for you on that as we look ahead. So with that, cash flow is also there for you. We are still needing to make significant progress on the budget, but that is a known fact for us as we work ahead throughout the year. The other thing that I included this month, just a brief understanding school finance information for our public. This provides information on where money comes from for the education fund and how it's divided between state and local revenues and grants throughout the rest of our funds. So I just wanted to put a little snip in there about the state budget and how much goes to the education fund. That is teaching and learning. So that is where we need to make the significant budget adjustments, because that is where our dollars come from with enrollments. And then the operations fund is where we have tax money that will see settlement this June and then in December. So those two funds are primarily state-driven revenue sources and local-driven revenue sources. Everything else, as we've talked about before, are grants, and those are basic ins and outs based on approvals at the time. So that is the finance report for you tonight. Thank you.
Any questions? Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry.
Karen, have you requested an advance draw on the property tax collections?
I have not yet this year. Last year I requested and the auditor did not do them. So this year I did not do an advance draw yet. So we we didn't get them last year, even after the request. So we will probably look at that in the future, but this year we did not do that just yet.
Thank you, Mr. Scout. President Brand, trustees, I'm now going to ask that Mr. Brad Walton, who will more than likely be accompanied by Mr. Kevin McCurdy or not, and potentially Mr. Roger Smith, join us for the bond project update.
Well, good evening, Board of School Trustees. What I've got here is just a quick snip and quick snapshot of progress we're doing right now with our bond projects. The big ones that you can see plain as day are the one out at Liebolt Field. We're working on the practice field right now, and we're waiting on some reports back from our geo company to give us some answers for our way to move forward with that right now. It's just depending on how much fill we're going to have to put back into the excavation is basically what's going on there. The D zone, the south end of the football field, been all removed, prepped with drainage. We've got new track event. I think it's the shot put and the discus were poured, I think, yesterday. So they're good to go. The tennis court has been moving along. It's been the demolition's been started on it. A couple of pictures here that the two on the left are what was the tennis court, and then the one on the right is the D zone there at the football field, and you see the scoreboard and play clock has been moved back out of the D zone, back to behind the track. The applied skills, the classroom reconfiguration, we've been hot and heavy down there. Tiling started in the main area of the focus point, which is the suite that has the bathrooms in it. We've had some intense demolition going on. We've had to cut concrete up through the hallways. Good news is, at one point we thought we were going to go down about 8 feet deep underneath the hallways. We did not. We only had to go down about 3. So that was a very pleasant surprise. So. There's a couple pictures there, some of the drainage going in the classrooms, a little bit of the tile in the suite, and then the picture on the right is also part of the suite. The secure front entrance, we were able to get a really good jump on that this spring. The ramps out front of the high school have been started, door 1A, so there'll be handicap ramps off all 3 doors in the front of the building. The cool picture here on the right is the old entrance that we've actually cut a doorway into that archway now, and that will be the entrance into the secured entrance. So it's kind of it's cool to see, and I've got more pictures if you guys want to see them, of just kind of some detail of how thick that brick was, and it's just kind of cool to see the old construction. The Career Center restroom is really going well. It's kind of, you walk in there the first time, and there's no walls in there dividing the men's and women's restroom because everything's being redone. It was just kind of, it's really neat to go in there and see all of it open and see where all the plumbing and all the mechanicals are at. All the plumbing's been installed, it's passed inspection, and they're starting to frame walls back in, and they're making really good progress over there. The Dennis HVAC Phase 2, all the demo, or not all the demo, most of the demo is done on the first floor. The construction team's putting paint on the walls in 101 through 105. The old gymnasium has been painted. It looks really good. This picture there on the left, really needed it. And then you see some of the current state of the classrooms right now, to where a month and a half from now, you're going to look at that and be like, holy cow, I can't believe this. This is what we were at. So it's moving along really nicely. Fairview Tower, had a little bit of a setback on that where there was some concern about the integrity of the new tower since it's made of fiberglass with wind shear and everything. We didn't want it to move and buckle, so there's been some new shop drawings done, and they're going to be adding all kinds of reinforcement steel into it to where it won't have any problems in withstanding the wind load. So that's put a little bit of a delay on things. Right now, we are targeting hopefully fall break for the demo and reconstruction of that. It really shouldn't take that long, but because it's all going to be a prefabbed unit. It's basically tear the old one off, take a crane, set the new one on, and attach it and waterproof. So,
With that, Mr. McCurdy. and
real
Mr.
quick
Strickland,
update for you guys. So,
if you don't mind joining Mr. Walton for some questions from the board members.
Yeah, a couple questions. Timing on, like, how long ago were those tennis courts put in? Like, when was the last time we would have done anything to those?
I know they've been resurfaced several times, but it's been,
I think it's been like 15 years.
Yeah, at least.
So resurfaced about 15 years ago?
I was thinking it was actually longer than that.
And what was interesting is when they got into tearing them up, there was actually like 2 full layers. Like there was the original layer, and then there was another layer put on top of that even, in addition to kind of the thinner recoat, so you can kind of see all those layers.
Okay.
Because we had about like 6 to 10 inches of material, asphalt material, where they had tried to deal with some sloping issues and some various things over the years, so.
Okay.
And it's supposed to be like, what, 4 to 5 inches?
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
That's why you could see where stuff had been done over time.
Yeah, not 10. So.
Okay, so that was like 15 years ago when the last layer
Like a
was-
significant overhaul, rather than just a thin recoat
Okay.
over the surface.
Yeah, I want to say it's been a lot longer than that since it was taken down to where we're taking it to, so.
Okay, okay. And then, that Career Center restroom, how long ago was that put in?
Well, it's been
Like it's-
83, so when the Career
1983.
Center was put in.
Okay.
So.
Yep.
And again, the big thing with that was it didn't meet ADA and accessibility
Right.
requirements was really one of the big
And
things down there for public meetings.
One of the interesting things we found was tile laid on top of tile. So it was, I have no idea why, but it was double tiled, so.
More tile, more better.
Right.
Pretty wild, so.
Okay.
How's the track coming?
It's coming. They haven't started the resurfacing part of it yet.
I see that they built the border around.
They're doing the perimeter, yeah. And that's more for the field turf for the D zone.
Okay.
They give it a anchor point, basically, so.
And are they rebuilding some of this? I saw that they had removed the long jump pit, the shot put pit,
Yep.
the high jump.
All the field events are gonna be redone.
They're gonna be redone, like okay.
Yep, so they'll be brand new.
They're being relocated and brought up to state.
Yeah, because I looked at some of it, I was like, that doesn't look like a long jump pit anymore, so.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No.
Some of them didn't actually meet current IHSAA standards, so it was kind of bringing them up and relocating the kind of more normalized positions that you would see in other.
All right, and I saw that, so the practice field right now, are we on track or?
We've missed out about a week and a half on production over there just because we're waiting on the test results from the Geo company to give us the direction to move forward. There was some question about how much fill we had to put back in, and at one point we thought we were going to do 100% fill, and now we're looking at about 25 to 30% spot fill with aggregate, so.
And the group you have overseeing that is Patriot Engineering. They're the geotech that's kind of policing all of that to make sure that all of those locations, what's being done is being done appropriately to stand up for another 20-plus years, so.
I know we had a project savings that was accumulated, or we didn't know exactly what our project savings was, but it was a significant amount, so I'm assuming we're going to use some of those funds to kind of fill in for the unexpected.
Correct. And so far, we're still within the contingencies we had for each of the projects. We haven't exceeded that on anything, but, we're not done yet, so I don't want to count our eggs before they hatch, so to speak, so.
And when will we know those, when will we know the exact figures on what we save? So the public knows that
We'll get a pretty good answer here by the end of the summer because most of these projects are scheduled to be wrapped up here by the end of the summer. So as we kind of bring those to conclusion, we'll have a better sense of all that.
Awesome.
So I would say August, September, we'll have a pretty good answer.
Yeah. You know how it is, anytime you do a remodel or anything, something always pops up, so.
I guess I had a question on the Fairview Tower. When did that start? I feel like that started right about the time I got on the board a couple of years ago, so.
And I think it was one of those that was talked about for a long time, so it really started in earnest. The goal was to get it done this summer. I think, and Brad said it, you know, some of the initial shop drawings we got were not what we expected, and so we've had to do more back and forth than we thought there was going to have to be over that.
So there's hope it will get done at some point before the end of time.
Correct.
If it's not done till the fall, will that affect the school, I mean, the kids, the
No,
students and
we would
teachers,
do
or-
everything while kids are not in the building. So if we couldn't do it over fall break, then we would do it over Christmas break, you know, weather permitting, so.
And weren't there some classrooms that were remodeled or
There were a few of them
refurbished
remodeled
as
there.
part of that too?
Yeah.
Well,
I
it was
remember
kind-
seeing
That was
those.
different.
It was kind of a separate structural
Yeah.
issue that we ran into where the outside wall was actually settling and there was some movement happening in foundations and things unrelated to that tower. So I think that was an unanticipated thing that needed to get taken care of.
I know those turned out great.
Yeah.
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 When will, projects, when will the estimated time of those ramps be finished?
First one's supposed to be done here to the 1st of July, so they're kind of working through them again to get them opened up for school, so.
Sweet.
But the idea is, you know, you go in door 1 there, and because then all of those rooms that they're using for kind of that entry and interaction point, you actually exit out door 1A, so that's where it kind of makes it now a loop of activity for parents and students to interact with administration in the building without really having to go into the building. So once that's all said and done, that's what that will bring to the front of the building. So.
I'm just thinking about like seniors, because I know seniors sometimes take their senior pics out there.
Yeah.
And it's gonna look different this is the first
Yeah.
time that.
It'll look very different.
It'll look different.
It'll look very
But it's a
different,
good
and that's the reason we waited until after graduation to start, because of that, so.
Yeah, we didn't want to muck up anybody's pictures. and-
Right, I kind of figured.
Yeah.
And we have been diligent to really keep that kind of rhythm that's down through there, because I think there is something to that repetitive nature and kind of that kind
Yeah,
of
it's
classical
kind of
approach to the
very
building that
classic
we
look.
didn't want to disrupt. So, yes, there are ramps down, set steps, but again, it's got to look consistent down through there across all 3.
But I think seeing those ramps, and I think aesthetically, I know Nicole, I know you and I, we like aesthetics, but they looked really good. I mean, from the pictures that we saw,
Right.
it just keeps Richmond looking.
Yep.
So, appreciate it. Really do.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Any other questions?
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
All right. No public commentary? Okay. We will move on then to our consent items. Items 5.01, the approval of minutes. Item 5.02, human resources and addendum. Item 5.03, accounts payable. Item 5.04, monthly financial report. And item 5.05, transfers.
I move to approve the consent items as presented.
Second?
It's a motion by member Stoltz and a second by member Brunton. Any questions or comments? All right, all those in favor vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Vote passes 6-0. Action items. Item 6.01, donations.
I move to approve action item 6.01, donations as presented.
Second.
It's a motion by member Stevens, second by member Hilliard. Any questions or comments? I'll add that they were in total of $9,522.15.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, all those in favor vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Vote passes 6-0. Item 6.02, We Are Richmond website.
I move to approve item 6.02 for the website.
Second.
Motion by member Stoltz, second by member Stevens. Any questions or comments? No? Okay, I thought you had something, sorry.
I was just gonna say, I bet you Alex is happy.
Let's give him the double thumbs up. We'll
Double
take that
thumbs
as a
up. I
yes.
like that one.
Excellent. All those in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Vote passes 6-0. Item 6.03, the Ad Tech E-rate solution for fiscal year 2027, Category 1 contract.
I move to approve 6.03, the Ad Tech E-rate solution fiscal year 2027 Category 1 contract as presented.
Second. Oh, second.
All right, that's a motion by member Stevens, a second by member Eloriaga. Dr. Rai, you want to just touch on what the contract is for the public?
Yeah, as it references there within board docs, the recommendation is to accept the Ad Tech Solutions contract. The recommendation continues the ongoing FCC E-rate support and services provided by Ad Tech Inc., which is out of Centerville, Indiana, here locally, on behalf of our school corporation. And if the board does approve this, then to Mr. Eloriaga's point, Mr. Hazelbaker will really be excited.
All right, all those in favor, any other questions or comments? All those in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Vote passes 6-0. Item 6.04, grade level realignment for the 2027-2028 school year.
I move to approve the grade level realignment, item 6.04.
Second.
All right, that's a motion by member Stoltz, a second by member Brunton. Any questions or comments?
Yeah, I'm just going to read out to the public kind of what this will involve. And this is something that we've been dialoguing about for quite a while. We have we've solicited community input. They would be supporting the move of 5th grade back to the elementary buildings. And this supports the efforts to align the curriculum, reduce transitions, to support the improved student achievement, and that's what we're all about, is the student achievement. It was included in the strategic plan, and there were opportunities at several points within that where we solicited feedback from the community. We did feel collectively as the board that that was something that was perceived as favorable. And so that's kind of what we're looking at possibly approving here in just a little bit. And I will point out, this would be for the 2027-2028 school year. So not this fall, but next fall. So, yeah.
All right, any other questions or comments? All those in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Vote passes 6-0. Item 6.05, the YMCA latchkey agreement.
Move to approve the YMCA latchkey agreement.
I'll second.
It's a motion by member Brunton, a second by member Stoltz. Any questions or comments? Again, Dr. Wright, this is just kind of a yearly.
This is the annual. Yeah.
Review. Yep.
For our after-school program. Yep.
All right, all those in favor, vote by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Vote passes 6-0. Item 6.06, benefits package 3 for Civic Hall Secretary 1.
I move to approve action item 6.06, benefits package 3 for Civic Hall Secretary 1, as presented.
I'll second.
All right, it's a motion by member Stevens, a second by member Stoltz. Any questions or comments? All those in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Nay.
All right, vote passes 5-1. Item 6.07, Simon Youth Academy MOU.
I I move to approve the MOU with Simon Youth Academy, which is item 6.07.
Second.
That's a motion by Member Stoltz, a second by Member Stevens. Any questions or comments? All those in favor vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Vote passes 6-0. Right, moving on to our policy review. Item 7.01 is policy 0144.1, compensation, up for third reading and approval.
I move to approve policy 0144.1, the revised bylaw, volume 38, number 1, compensation, third reading.
I'll second.
It's a motion by Member Brunton, a second by Member Stoltz. Any questions or comments? Or turn it over to Kristen.
This came before the public policy meeting in May and June, where we've had lots of discussion, and this reflects a change in the new Indiana code that allows board members to be entitled to receive a stipend not to exceed 10% of the lowest salaried teacher, which our lowest salaried teacher is $46,000. And this board has unanimously decided to keep this stipend for board members at $2,000, which is over half less than what could be, through a resolution you're gonna see. And actually, I looked into the stipend of the $2,000 that school board members received, and it was established over 40 years ago with no increases. So this new law allowed increases, but just public be aware, this board has decided not to accept. We're accepting the new law and putting that into policy, but we're also adding to that a resolution that says we are going to stay at the $2,000 that was established 43 years ago.
That was before your time, actually, wasn't it?
Me and Moses.
So you've never gotten a raise. Aaron.
Thank you. All right, all those in favor vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Vote passes 6-0. Item 7.02 is board resolution on compensation.
I move to approve the board resolution on compensation as presented.
Second.
All right, it's a motion by Member Brunton, a second by Member Eloriaga. For questions or comments, we go back to Kristen.
Said everything I needed to say.
I think this was the one that,
Keeping us at 2,000.
did this have the date change, or I'm sorry, the special meeting change? There was some incorrect verbiage?
Yeah, we changed the policy and
Yeah, so it was just a catch to make sure that everything was reflected accurately. All right, all those in favor vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Vote passes 6-0. Item 7.03 is policy 4162, drug and alcohol testing of CDL holders and other employees who perform safety-sensitive functions. This is up for second reading and approval.
I move to approve item number 7.03, policy 4162, drug and alcohol testing of CDL holders and other employees who perform safety-sensitive functions.
Second.
It's a motion by Member Stoltz, a second by Member Hillard. Questions or comments?
This came to the March policy meeting. It just clears up some definitions that were needed in the policy. And something we talked about in the policy meeting that we appreciated was that this includes where staff members who voluntarily disclose they have an addiction, that they may participate in an employee assistance program.
All right, all those in favor vote by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Vote passes 6-0. Item 7.04 is policy 0100, definitions, April 2026 update. This is a first reading.
I'll make the motion to move policy 0100 definitions to second reading.
Second.
The motion by Member Stoltz, second by Member Stevens. Any questions or comments, Kristen?
This came before the June policy meeting. It just clarifies some definitions. The definition of the communication device went from our previous policy, which was about 2 sentences, to now it's a big paragraph of what a communication device is. So it clarifies that.
All right, any other questions, comments? All right, all those in favor vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Vote passes 6-0. Item 7.05 is policy 5136, personal communication devices, April 2026 update and first reading.
I make a motion that we move policy 5136, personal communication devices, April 26 update, April 2026 update to second reading.
Second.
So motion by member Stevens, a second by member Mike Eloriaga. A little mix up there. Any questions or comments?
This came before the June policy meeting, and the board members that were there, we really decided this needed to come to the whole board for a discussion because this is a pretty big policy change. The Indiana code changed what they allowed for a personal communication device from previously it was during instructional time. Now it's for the entire school day. So that's very different. And of course, there's always exceptions to that. But what we need to decide is, do we want as a board for a policy to be no device at all at school, or have a storage policy where students can bring their devices, they have to put them in at the beginning of the day, whatever that is, and can only take it at the end of the day because of Indiana code, or do we just say no devices at school at all?
So what would be, I guess my question, what's the closest to what Indiana law
Mimics.
like, what is the least we have to do to be compliant?
At this juncture, and again, I want to steal Mr. Hensley's thunder, but I believe at this juncture, as Mrs. Brunton stated, either we allow students to bring them, store them away in their locker, and/or they have
It's
to
that
stay at
simple,
home.
there's no other, okay.
Now, Senate Enrolled Act 78 is the bell-to-bell law. And the question before the board really is, are you going to allow devices on property at all? Or are you going to allow a storage policy? And so, in my opinion, the least restrictive option is a storage policy.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
That has been something that has been within the news over the last week, and with Indianapolis Public Schools as well, and some other larger school corporations around the state since the passing of that. So, and most of them are going to the storage policy.
I think it'd be wise too, you just can't, there could be someone with medical conditions, you know what I mean?
Well, there are
the exceptions.
There are exceptions to it, but
in-
still,
Yes.
I mean, the least restrictive would be the storage policy, in my mind.
And just to add too, I think during the work session, the policy working group session, it was referenced that with such a adoption of the policy to be stored away during the day, students would then therefore, at the conclusion of the day, have access to those mobile devices so as to communicate with parents, guardians, and/or arrange for pickup or drop-off.
So that's if we did completely.
That's for the storage, right?
That's for the
That's
storage.
storage.
The storage
If we
option.
did no devices, they're not allowed to have them on
Premises.
the school property at all whatsoever.
Kind of
I
ridiculous.
think we're hurting ourselves if we do not.
Yeah, that'd be ridiculous.
That'd be ridiculous.
Yeah, so at the policy meeting, we kind of revised, we kind of selected the options that allowed for the storage, but we felt like this was a big topic that should come before the entire board. So that, what was moved, the motion to move the revised version to the second reading is actually the one with the storage option selected.
So on a typical day, if you all were to adopt the storage route, as a student, I arrive, I store my phone away. At the conclusion of the day, I then will have access to my device to communicate with parents, guardians,
So when it comes back, it'll have that language change for that option.
depending
Yeah.
upon how.
Yes, or depending on, yeah.
So we
So
would
would
do this-
anything indicate that they're not able to look at those devices in between classes
Yes.
or during?
written in there, yeah.
Okay.
It's
an
archaic.
instructional day. That's the entire school day. It used to be instructional time. So now it's
Right.
instructional day.
Okay.
So if you're a building, it might be like 8:30 to 3:30, whatever the day is, that's instructional day.
Okay.
And we kind of talked about the, the way that it used to be done. If you need to get a hold of your kid during the middle of the day and they don't have their phone, you can still call the school, and, how I grew up and others grew up, and a note would be sent or a message would still be relayed.
We do still have protocols,
Yes.
procedures,
Definitely.
and processes that allow for parents and guardians in those emergency situations or appointments and those type things.
And when does this go into effect?
July 1.
July 1, yeah, next month.
Okay.
So
If we move this to second reading?
this is in this note, it says July 2028.
Where are you reading that?
I am on page 5 of 9.
I think you're talking about, in July 2028, if the student's going to use a device on school property, the
This is
school has to provide
PCDs,
it.
okay.
So by July 2028, if they're going to be using a device for an instructional purpose, this bring your own device, you'll see some districts do that, it's a cost saving measure. They can't do that. The district has to provide the device and supervise the device during the instructional day.
Gotcha.
Makes sense.
I'm in favor of the storage.
Yeah.
I think.
I'm in
Whatever
favor, I'm in favor of the
least-
storage.
Whatever barely skates us by to be compliant, but be least restrictive of unnecessarily crazy policies.
Okay with storage.
Oh, God, yeah.
Very good.
I'm good with it.
I'm good with it. You can make, pass this through.
Are we ready for a vote?
Yeah, so, all right, all those in favor vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Vote passes 6-0.
President Brand, point of clarification, I think Member Eloriaga alluded to it. That was first reading. Are we moving for first and final, or will we bring this back in July for a final?
I think we
The motion was to move it to second reading.
Second,
move
yeah.
it to second reading.
Does it need to be done before July 1?
I believe it needs to be done
No.
before school starts.
I don't think we're having heartburn over that one.
Okay,
Okay, so second reading, okay.
so we can,
I'd like you to see it in finished format, so you.
So we, yeah, fair enough.
okay. All right, item 7.06, policy 5120, assignment of students to schools and programs within the district, or I'm sorry, within the school district, first reading.
I make the motion to move policy 5120 to second reading.
Second.
All right, motion by member Stoltz, second by member Hillard. Any questions or comments?
This came to the May and June policy meeting, and the last time this was reviewed was 14 years ago, so it really needed updating. It changes in the policy, it gives, it directs people to the AG, the administrative guidelines for assigning schools to school, assigning students to schools and programs within the school district. It still lays out, how people are assigned, based on where they live, but there also now we have programs like STEAM where students don't necessarily go to what school district they're in, and so this kind of clarifies that through the AG.
All right, any other questions or comments? All those in favor vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Vote passes 6-0. Item 7.07 is policy 9270, assignment of students to schools and programs within the school district. This is first reading.
I make a motion that we move policy 9270 to second reading.
I'll second.
I think that was, did that have the wrong title? So 7.07, 9270 should have been equivalent instruction for compulsory attendance compliance purpose, homeschooling and non-accredited schools, first reading. Still have the, okay. And then, did you second?
I second.
You second, okay. So there's a motion by member Stevens, a second by member Stoltz. Questions or comments?
This came to the May and June policy meeting, and we decided we really need a whole group discussion about this because this is a big policy to consider. It basically is, the question's being asked, do we want students who don't attend RCS to be able to participate in extracurricular activities? At our first policy meeting, we discussed it briefly, kind of the pros and cons, because there's obviously pros and cons on both sides. And Mr. Pritchard was great about reaching out to different departments that may be affected by that, and kind of gave us some feedback, and he can elaborate on that. I know he reached out to the music department and the athletic department. This really affects it. As far as sports go, it doesn't affect high school because that's not allowed in high school because of IHSAA rules. It does affect middle school. I know many of the people Mr. Pritchard talked to said consistency is important. There were some concerns about resources. For example, if we have students who are not in our district, join the band, for example, or join something, and we allow them to, then supplies could be not enough resources for our own students. As far as there could be overcrowding in classrooms if students come in during the school day. We don't get money, we now understand, from these students unless they are dual enrolled or enrolled in halftime. So it would allow students. Of course, on the other side, we want to promote RCS, and we want everyone to get into RCS to be able to see how great it is and experience it, and this is one way to do that. So there's pluses and minuses. As far as athletics, it could be where a student from another district joins a team and then bumps an RCS player from a position or being able to participate because of skill level. And so it's an important conversation to have as we have, IU East opening up a high school where maybe students could choose to go there, but then not come here, or come here for just athletics, or it's kind of piecemealing, picking parts you want to participate in and others. That's kind of a quick overview. There's many pluses and many minuses on both sides.
Right.
So.
I guess
Kinda like having your cake and eating it too, or no?
Yeah, that's
okay.
In some ways.
I was curious, what are the main pros of?
Well, I think I know of a pro right now. I think we have a student currently in RHS that is homeschooled, that goes to the high school, if I'm not mistaken, and is transitioning from homeschooling to full-time. She won the NCC, and she's an honor roll student. The reason why I know this is because the parent contacted me. So in that kind of situation, absolutely, come to Richmond. We want you. You are choosing us. So again, there's pros and cons, but I'm thinking that's definitely a pro, right? So I think we should move this to second reading and kind of just nail this down, but.
I think really what brought this back up was the IU East micro school.
The IU East micro school too.
That situation, potentially, is that kind of what brought this back to the forefront, so to speak, or?
I know that that did come up, the IU East micro school, but it wasn't necessarily the nexus of the conversation.
Yeah.
I guess my question is, Hensley, is there a way to, from a policy standpoint, can we make sections of this so that it's, we just don't target everyone in one big group? We can kind of say, hey, this is homeschooling. Is it possible? I'm just thinking out loud, sorry.
Yeah. From a policy perspective, you can construct it about any way you want, probably. I would defer to Ron, make sure we're still legal and compliant. However, I think when you think about how a policy is implemented across a district, if you are piecing it together and very like a quilting version where it's this or that here and there, it's really difficult for not only families to understand, but also for district employees trying to implement that policy to understand. Nothing's impossible. I
like that answer, though.
Yeah.
I think being specific and clear about what you want is probably the best option.
Yes.
If you're gonna say it applies to these people but not those people, I think it raises concerns for me just from an implementation standpoint. Nothing's impossible, but I think consistency of implementation is what I think about.
But moving it to a second reading and bringing it back to the policy working session for a second
Well,
conversation.
I think we just need to hear from everyone because of maybe that's kind of where we were at after 2 times of coming through the policy
I
meeting.
agree.
We really need to kind of
I
hear
agree.
where everyone is.
I feel like the homeschool, I don't know, in some ways, I feel like the homeschool is a little bit different situation than the micro school, you know? I mean, if they want to be a school, go make their own team.
That's what I truly believe that it's different. Like you go, a micro school that is going into IU East is pretty much a charter school. Let's just call it what it is.
And go start their own program.
Yeah, right. That's kind of where I'm at. But at the same time, you've got homeschool kids who are transitioning and or participating with Richmond and being part of Richmond. I mean, do we shun those kids? I mean, I know it's kind of one of those things where it's like, what do? I think as a community, and we take in our own, we want them to be part of Richmond. And it's just where I stand. But
Wait, so could you clarify what we take?
I
We
just-
take
we-
in our own.
we take in our
want
own, but
them
those
to
are those-
be- Who's them? Like, who?
people
sorry.
that want to be part of Richmond,
Oh, okay.
they choose to be with Richmond, they choose to be with Richmond Community Schools. Why are we shunning them? That's kind of my whole point.
You mean if just they want to take one class because they're welcome?
They're
Don't shun
welcome,
them from
yeah.
coming
I mean-
in to like enroll full-time, but.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yes, okay.
Or are you also saying like they're not wanting to attend Richmond, but they are wanting to play, you know?
Let me
basketball
simplify it.
with- Sorry.
Let me simplify it for
Yeah.
the public, okay?
Yeah.
In a situation when it comes to homeschooling, if they're transitioning into from homeschooling to Richmond Community Schools, absolutely. I would love those kids to come through. Absolutely. I'm not going to shy away from that. But i.e., if you are starting a charter school, micro school, and you want your cake and eat it too, and that is where we have to decide, where do we draw the line?
Gotcha.
This is a discussion we had at length 2 years ago. It's the same thing all over again. And the reality is to be very precise and concise and everything defined within a policy that we have. It keeps us from opening up Pandora's box and some legal avenue for somebody who feels discriminated because we created a separate group of people and families who could come here, while at the same time disregarding others based upon these things. And if you recall, it included band, it included some of the other extracurricular activities, not just sports. And I would go along with nailing it down in the policy itself and being very clear and concise in regards to how this applies, who it applies to, and it should be very general, because you're right, this is a great recruiting tool. You know, somebody's thinking, well, I don't know how much longer my school is going to be here. You know, I'm going to a school that has declining population. I'm going to look someplace. I'm involved with this. I'd like to play this. I'd like to be involved with this in a broader scheme of students that I can meld with. And so that's where having a policy that just is equitable for everyone really comes into play.
So, it sounds like, I wasn't able to attend the last policy meeting, but it sounds like there was some feedback from, like, and even
Yes,
a recommendation.
Would
I
you mind, Mr.
Yeah.
Richard, since you spoke to those groups? I wrote my note, I have my notes.
Richard,
from when you talked, but I-
please join us.
It'd just be
Please
helpful
join
for
us.
all of us to
Yes.
hear.
I know you've been chomping at the bits back there.
I got a really good one if you wanted to hear it.
Welcome, Mr. Sam Pritchard, our Assistant Superintendent of Secondary Education. Sir.
Yeah, well, I reached out to, I asked co-curricular, so the arts, right, the choir, music, and orchestra, and then I also talked to the athletic department about what they thought. And so on the co-curricular side, the concern was if we didn't require the one course, if I chose to be in the band, concern might be, one of their concerns was, one with available instruments, you know, and overstaffing or overpopulating those classes. But then the other was, if I'm not required to come in, am I truly practicing the piece of music that I'm going to be expected to perform with the rest of the band? So I might be able to play that at home with my parents' direction, but they wanted to make sure, they wanted to lay eyes on the kids to make sure they were competent with the instrument, able to perform when they needed to. And then athletically speaking, they just wanted, to Mr. Hensley's point, to make it kind of, it would be a little easier for them to police consistency-wise if everything K through 12, because the IHSA is going to dictate 9 through 12 that you have to take a course, and so could get a little cumbersome into investigating specific family situations or student situations. They would have to prove eligibility, and still be academically eligible to participate, and so what kinds of report cards and things are produced. So from that perspective, for simplicity's sake, they were kind of leaning more towards, but we would
They were
figure
leaning
out-
more towards what?
Towards taking the course, sticking with the IHSAA at the high school level. You have to take the one course. That's an IHSA rule.
You have to take it, right.
So you have to. So it's just a little bit cleaner and
Yeah.
easier for them to police and navigate if all families were expected to follow that same rule. Because you might be homeschooled and be able to participate, and then when you get to high school, then they have to answer well, why can't I do this in 9th grade? Well, the IHSA doesn't allow it.
Dictates
So-
that, right?
Yeah, dictates that. So that was kind of their feedback.
Okay. Of course, band, that's not an issue, because it's not.
No, they
IHSA.
can. In fact, Mr. Merkamp, I did not realize, Mr. Merkamp forwarded me the State Marching Band Association in regards to like summer marching band. They actually, there's a form that as long as, if I'm at Randolph Southern, for example, and we don't compete in marching band over the summer or state fair band day, if there's an agreement between that district and your band director and the band director at Richmond, then kids from other schools can participate with bands that do participate in the Indiana State Marching Band competitions and things. So they do allow that even at the high school level. You don't have to be a member of that. It's kind of like the super senior kind of concept, so I didn't realize that.
So overall recommendation,
But they'd like it to be the one class.
like, so if you take the
Take a
one class, you can,
Take a class and you can participate, be a part, and you
and
can,
what about for lower levels?
same.
Okay.
So if
middle
I
school- middle
wanted
school.
my student, my middle schooler to play golf, and I'm a homeschool parent, then you have to be enrolled in a class at RCS. And then how would we police enrolling in one 6th grade class? I guess the student would then,
Just like we do in high school.
but then, just so I understand, then the student could come over, so we could have a group of students who come, take one class, but we don't get any money for those students, none. And they could take seats from our students, and they could increase class sizes so that they could participate in an extracurricular. Okay.
That is
Just want to
correct.
make sure I understand.
At what point do we get money for the
Yeah,
student?
that was a question.
was last time, and
half
Karen
day.
can speak to this, but I wrote
Is it-
down, she said dual enrollment or half-time enrollment.
I think that's a Mrs. Scalp question.
Okay,
Welcome back, Mr. Scalf.
Yeah, so, you cannot split, ADM more than half.
okay.
So if they're dual enrolled, then that means that they have to attend, and now with attendance measures, because that has to be turned in every Friday, with the ME report, which is a membership report, they actually are tracking that. So they have to attend half the day at RCS for any funding to be considered. So, and then it just depends on what they take as to additional funds beyond that basic foundation grant. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you both. Thank you.
That all?
Thank you, sir.
So I guess we just need, as far, I think it will go back to policy, but we just kind of need to know where everyone stands on, do you want to allow students for outside, yes or no? And then if yes, do you want them to be enrolled half-time for us to get money, yes or no? With them, we're not voting, but just how do you feel? I'm still not sure where everyone,
I think we just move it to second reading and then kind of hash it out. I mean, that's-
well, the problem is at policy meeting, only a few people can attend. And
Absolutely.
so that's why we want everyone's input, because this is where the final vote takes place.
It seems to me that a couple of years ago, when we were deliberating this, that we had it broken down. That you had to have be enrolled in at least 4 classes to get that. And
And
so,
therefore, we're getting half of the ADM money. Okay.
So that's kind of what you'd be in favor of, halftime enrollment. Okay, that's where I stand as well.
I guess my question to you is this, from a financial standpoint, if we are getting that half ADM money, where does that ADM money go to? Is that going to the
Education fund.
educational fund, right? Okay.
Yeah, all ADM dollars go to the ed fund.
Yep, I thought.
And just to enrich the art, or the conversation that is being had, I mentioned during the working group policy, working group session, that, and again, as we all know, we're Richmond Community Schools. We are unique from any other corporation, but most other corporations, it is either an all-in or all-out type approach. Most other corporations go the route of all-in or all-out.
My final comment on that is we had student athletes that were here tonight who were being celebrated, and you look at the bonding that they are able to do, whether it be over one season, over 4 seasons here. You look at the band, you look at the band in particular right now that's practicing, getting ready with students who may not be actually enrolled in Richmond Community Schools. But it's a great selling point, because when you build those kinships and those bonds amongst them, you're realizing, come August, if I don't attend here, or if I don't attend Richmond Community Schools, I'm going to lose the friendships that I've forged over the last 2 or 3 months. Mom, Dad, enroll me. So I still think that it's a great opportunity for us.
That hence my example of this person that was homeschooled and is making the transition to Richmond Community Schools is because of the bond that she has had in the program that she currently is in, honor roll student. Those are the kids that we want part of Richmond. So I second that.
And just to further the dialogue, I was asked, what happens to the homeschool money, for those who are homeschooled? Where does their ADM money? An ADM for the general public is the average daily membership, and it's the money that follows a kid or doesn't, because again, from what I understand, Karen, correct me if I'm wrong, whenever you have a homeschooler, the money that typically follows that homeschooler it's just left at the state's bottom line, and it does not follow the student, correct?
Yes, so choice scholarships is the money that's set aside for vouchers for if they choose a charter or a homeschool with tuition. So that money just sits in that choice scholarship is kind of how it looks on the state side, but the voucher system. And then they reallocate those funds eventually, but it all depends on the budget year and how the budget determines to utilize those funds. So it isn't necessarily to public schools. So that we don't always know that, but that it is just held at the state.
Okay. But again, if someone who is homeschooled chooses to do is it 4 classes they would have to do at the high school to get half,
Yeah, it would just have to be half enrollment, so whatever a half day is, yeah.
And can that also be an internship? Does that make sense? Can part of that experience at the high school be an internship?
They have to be registered for courses.
Okay.
So if they're in career education and it's a 3-hour program that's a credit, then whether that's an internship or not, I think that there's still work to be done on that, but they have to be enrolled in credited courses. So internships that aren't credited, no.
Okay.
That
But
does
if
not
they
get us,
were-
internships do not get us enrollment money.
Okay.
Internships are just internships.
Again, unless they're credited.
Unless they're credited, and at that point, they would fall under the career education category as well, and they would be under high, low, or moderate for levels of marketability is how that they measure those dollars. So if they're enrolled in that program, then there are other career education reports and counting that are done that some funds do come to the district. But typically, I have not seen internships typically get us funding unless they're credited as a course.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you know, again, in this hypothetical situation, you could be a homeschool kid that has an internship for one of your credits and then possibly 2 or 3 other classes, or it'd have to be 3 other classes, or what?
I think it depends on a half day. Like, I think
Sam,
that
jump
because
in.
if they're in a career education course, those are a 3-hour course.
Okay, so that would be 3
I mean,
credits.
that depends on
Okay.
each program, because some are 2, some are 3, some are 1. And I think that it just depends on the electives that the student takes.
So then they would have the internship, possibly, again, hypothetical, and then 1 other class, and that would make them eligible. Okay, just wondered.
Seems like eligible for what, funding?
For us to receive funding, and again, if we were thinking possibly the half-day approach, then eligible for participation in our sports and extracurriculars.
For example,
Okay,
if
just
I'm
wondering.
a student, I'm taking pre-calc, period 1, and then I'm in an automotive program for the remainder of that 3-hour block, whatever it may be, that's ideally half the day. I'd be eligible for the accredited program. This corporation would be eligible to receive such $88.
Okay.
And if I'm a middle schooler, I would have to enroll half-day also.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, that is less, we haven't really run into that
Right,
too much.
That's what.
But in the way that the current enrollment work and data happens, you would think that that is how that would be processed, because that's how it's done at the high school, and you would think it would be that way the entire K-12 experience.
But it is possible, if we wanted to write the policy to say, until you get to high school, we're fine with you participating in our extracurriculars and our sports without being enrolled. But once you get to the high school, you have to be enrolled half-time, or whatever we want to do. That is possible for us to write the policy that way, correct?
In theory, yes, that would not mimic the IHSAA rules, but in theory,
Right.
you could write it that way.
Right.
Thank you, Mrs. Scow.
And I will say that and Mr. Pritchard, you can correct me, but the athletic department felt like they would like it to be mimicked, right? That whatever we do in high school mimics other grades, because middle school is kind of where the gray area is right now.
They prefer that, just from that instance, like if a middle school student is enrolled in 3 courses for us, academic eligibility might require passing 5 classes. So then you would need to not only you'd have to coordinate with the family to get the 2 other passing classes plus the 3. I mean, so there's just some intricacies to not keeping it just one following the IHSA guideline.
So I'm
On
not
this-
sure
We
where
still
Nicole
need
and
to-
Kathy
yeah,
stand,
we
but
still
just
need
so,
to-
not that you have to give me a hard decision,
Oh,
but
okay,
just so I
so
have a
we're,
path for us.
I heard
to move.
half and half. I
kind of- yeah, I
didn't know
heard
where
Aaron.
Aaron landed.
And Michael, you're saying no half, you can, anyone, is that what I'm hearing you say? Join us for an activity
say
or
half.
extracurricular,
Okay.
and you're good with that, is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying if we go down the path of, i.e. the example of a current student that's with Richmond Community Schools, we're gonna cut her out. We're gonna lose those people too. So
Right.
we've got to be accommodating, and obviously the IHSA, dictates the high school. We can kind of accommodate that. Maybe we just adopt what the IHSA does and move it down to middle school. We can adopt that. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I mean, we could keep it simple. We don't have to make it too complicated. I like simple.
So that would be just, you can take one class, is that what you're saying, where you are? I'm just trying to understand what you're saying, and write it down.
Keep it simple, yes.
So one class, okay, but we would not get any funds for that, correct? That's what we heard.
Depends if it's a 3-hour course.
We still wouldn't get any funds from
Half day.
Okay.
You would have to, that's what I was trying to say, what's the
Yes.
bare minimum? They would have to do 1 class and 1 3-hour internship that's credited. So that would be the bare minimum for us to get.
Halftime is probably what we should just, if we're gonna go that route, say, so we not get specific in case something doesn't.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Austin, where are you
I
falling?
feel like half credit, because I get the example here, and they're transitioning in. I would much rather be accommodating to them than someone that's choosing to leave and go to a charter school or whatever, because they're making the decision to transfer out, so.
Right.
They can provide their own sports, I guess, or extracurriculars or whatever, so. So half credit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Half-time enrollment.
Half-time,
to be
and,
able to-
yeah.
Okay.
I missed what, Aaron, where did you land?
Halftime.
Halftime, okay, yeah. Yeah, I am also leaning towards halftime. I would love to say, or I'd like to say, if anyone, any constituents have any strong views on this, please reach me, or any of us, actually, in the next, 4 weeks before our next meeting, because we're only in second reading right now, and I still see pros and cons on both sides. But as I'm listening to it tonight, as I'm hearing the recommendation from our admin, I do see wisdom in receiving some of that money, if we can, for the halftime. So there you go.
We have nothing to lose. We really have nothing to lose, because you're either going to be a part of, or you're, as the metaphor was used, you're going to have those who want to have their cake and eat it too. We may never have them anyway, so.
Halftime. Okay. And so this just kind of gives us a baseline for our next discussion at the next policy meeting. So we so that's good. And this does move on to the next reading, which is good, just to allow us to continue to discuss. Perfect.
Okay. All those in favor for moving this to second reading, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Vote passes 6-0. We are on to open forum. So I get, I'll start with this. Obviously, when the agenda came out, the reductions in force were listed. They were removed in order to, for more discussion prior to the end of the month. So we will be having another meeting, probably exec session first, and then a session to vote on that. So I want to get that out of the way first.
So that means if anyone sees anything.
So I will add that, yes, if you see anything online that says this was done tonight and voted on 6-0.
It's incorrect.
Not sure what meeting they were watching, but that did not happen. So,
To the public, we did not vote on RIFs tonight.
yeah,
Just so that everybody's aware.
If you're seeing stories, let's check sources, I guess, and I would encourage all media partners to ensure the accuracy of your reporting. So.
Also of note, tomorrow is the last chance for anyone to file for school board positions. We do currently have 3 availabilities. There are 2 at-large positions that are going to be open, as well as 1 district position. And as I said, tomorrow's the last day to file for that.
I'll jump on that because I had a note to just say tomorrow at noon is the deadline, so make sure you get there before noon. And if you're interested in advocating for students, influencing local policy, educational policy that we talked about, representing, values, overseeing spending, those things, and you care about teachers and student achievement, then I think you should apply.
I really want to just really talk about the open forum on this part. And, I have a list of questions, but I really want to hit this part. As we navigate the RIFs and make decisions that directly impact classrooms, I believe it is important to understand the costs associated with administrative turnover, teacher turnover, student turnover. And, I asked administration, and I want to be very clear, can you please provide a cost analysis of the administration turnover during the last 5 years, and what financial impact does that have on the district and the effects that the turnover has had on teachers, students, and classroom instruction? The reason why I asked that, and I really want to be clear on this, is we have the public knowing. Obviously, we did not RIF anyone tonight per one source that had posted on Facebook. And I'm pretty sure they will take off their story, but we did not riff anyone. I really want to be clear on that. But I really want the administration to really do a cost analysis, regarding the administration turnover, regarding our teacher turnover, regarding our student turnover in the last 5 years. How many students have we lost? How many teachers have we trained, certified, worked in Richmond for the last 3 years or 2 years or 1 year, and they have left our district? I really would like to see that cost analysis brought up. And I challenge the administration to look at that cost analysis. Anything else?
Do you have anything? You have anything, RDC or?
We did meet yesterday, and we went through some of the Smith Hill housing development stuff. So that's something that is currently being funded. Also, the Greenway initiative, that's an intersection kind of right by Ullery's Ice Cream. There's going to be a tie-in, the bike loop is going to be tied into the Cardinal Greenway, which makes a lot of sense. So that was something that we provided some funding on. So that's kind of, I don't know how much that's going to impact our students necessarily, but the Smith Hill housing definitely should be impacting our students. And then the other one was we approved some funding for the parking garage downtown. So.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Much needed.
All right. Nobody else? All right. We'll move on to the preview of upcoming meetings. The next policy work session is scheduled for Tuesday, July 7th at 4 p.m. Right here in the boardroom. The next regular business meeting is the current next regular business meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, July 15th at 5:30 p.m. Again, we will be having an exec session to discuss the RIFs that, again, were not approved tonight. And then we will schedule another meeting prior to June 30th, which is the last day that we have to approve those. We will schedule another meeting that obviously will be advertised for the public. So aside from that, Dr. Wright, do we have an adjournment, or I'm sorry, a bell ringer for the adjournment?
President Bryan, trustees, I'm going to ask that Mrs. Bridget Hazel Baker rejoin us as she is making her way up to share this evening's bell ringer. I too would just like to yet again congratulate our honorees from the celebration of excellence, and also thank those that were behind putting that celebration of excellence together. It was just a great representation. I also want to thank the board for your participation and support of the celebration. And again, as we know, teachers are the most important people in our classrooms, and they did a tremendous job. And so, Mrs. Hazel Baker.
Not sure if you have been outside and to hear that it's band camp. So we've got a lot of stuff going on. I just want to thank just a couple of the businesses that have been sponsoring and helping our marching band and our devilettes. So Firehouse Barbecue and Blues has helped out with lunch and dinner, Frickers, Mercurio's, IHOP, El Traboul Mexican. Also donations have come from Blue Buffalo, AJ's Main Street Diner, State Farm Insurance, Stoltz Family Dentistry, Christopher's Auto, Doc's Pop, Wiesenhunt Construction, Best One Tires, Van Vliet Insurance, Petland, WellCare, Community Health. And I want you guys to mark your calendars that on Sunday, August 2nd at 7 p.m. is their ice cream social. So really would like for all of us to be out there to support our Red Devils. Their first competition will be July 18th at Centerville. They perform at 8:41. They also perform at the Muncie Central competition on July 25th. And I'll give this information to Mrs. Elsmeyer so we can put in the board briefs. And then also Winchester will be on August 1st. So, and then of course our State Fair Band Day is August 7th. So just wanted to again thank all of our sponsors and our partners with our marching band.
All right. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.